This is Betsafe.com, and we're looking ahead to Cage Warriors 84 at the O2 Arena.
We're with Dan Hardy, UFC legend. We're looking ahead at the O2. It's Cage Warriors 84. If we just look at the main card, look at the couple of fights that stand out. Matt Inman against Brad Wheeler. Where are you looking there for the win?
Well, I think Matt Inman's going to have a lot of momentum. You know, he's got a bit more experience, he's got a few more wins in his win column, and he's coming off a loss as well. You know, he's going to be disappointed about that, about his last performance, because he was so close to the win. And, you know, Brad Wheeler's a tough guy. He comes forward, he's very aggressive, but he can leave himself open to someone who's quite slick like Inman.
And what about a night like the O2? How's that going to affect you? Because, I mean, we've seen some big dues at Liverpool, but the O2 is something else, isn't it? It's big.
It is. It really gets your heart racing, especially even just as a spectator. As I'm driving up to the O2 Arena and I can see the space there, it's a real fight arena. I mean, I can't say any more than that. As soon as you walk into the building, you can feel the atmosphere in there. There's a real buzz about the place, and if you're fighting, you're just adding to that buzz. And what Cage Warriors are doing at the Indigo with all the standing room as well, it really gives it that kind of party atmosphere, which I think feeds into the fights.
Now, look at the main event, Marco Kamasevic, we'll
Yeah.
say that right?
Yeah.
He's up there against Nathaniel Wood. Now,
Yes.
Nathaniel Wood is a guy we've been hearing about a lot. He's
Yes.
Brad's man. How good is he?
He's very, very good. I actually had the opportunity to work a little bit with him. I was in the gym at Titans. I was going to see Brad, and he was telling me about how good Nathaniel Wood was. I held pads for him a little bit. He's very calm, he's very relaxed, and he's got the mind of an older fighter. He's got a very mature mindset in a young man with a lot of energy and a lot of talent. And he's also, you know, I mean, he's on such a streak at the moment, and he's coming off a recent win as well. Vaughan Lee was a massive win for him, a big UFC veteran, a name in the sport. So I think momentum's on his side.
We were talking to Brett Johns earlier on. He's been sparring with him. He said his hands are so quick, they're lightning.
Very quick, very fluid, and he puts his combinations together very well. I mean, as you would imagine with someone that trains with Brad Pickett, someone who's got great hands, a great boxer, he's got that very nice, classical, relaxed style where he lets his combinations flow from his shoulders, all of his hips and legs do the work, and that's where his power comes from.
Brad Pickett's done it, he's UFC, you've done it. Can this guy do it? Everybody's saying that he's going to come into UFC, he's going to do well. What do you think?
Most definitely. You know, he's the new wave. He's the guy that he's benefiting from my experience and from Brad's experience of being a mixed martial artist when mixed martial arts was a very new thing. You know, we were still trying to find our way, whereas Nathaniel Wood's got the opportunity to step into a gym like Titan and be surrounded by guys that know the sport inside and out and can teach him everything he needs to know. And because he's so young and talented and he learns so quickly, he's absorbing it like a sponge. And if he can take that through to the UFC, he's going to be a star.
Cage Warriors 84 at the O2 in London. How good's it going to be? You just said it's moved on and moved on.
Yeah.
Is this going to be one of the cream of the crop?
I think this is the moment where we really see what we've got in this country, the talent that we've got in the UK. I mean, Cage Warriors has always been a launching pad to the UFC for so many stars. Obviously, Michael Bisping himself was a Cage Warriors champion, myself as well. You know, there's a lot of potential that comes into this cage, and when we see them perform in the O2 Arena, we just get the best of them. So I think it's going to be a night to remember.
I've got to ask you before we go as well, Mayweather, Conor
Yeah.
McGregor, what are your thoughts on that?
In a boxing match, Mayweather's the best boxer of all time. He's the best defensive boxer of all time. You know, if you speak to people that have fought Mayweather, even they couldn't touch him. Guys that have been boxing since they were 8 years old. And Conor McGregor's a great fighter, but he's not a boxer. He's a great fighter. If he doesn't have all the other tools, the kicking, the footwork, and the octagon space, which is very different to a boxing ring, it's a different sport. I would like to see it. I would be interested to watch it as a fan, but it would be more of a circus than a fight for me, I'm afraid.
If it was MMA, it'd be the other way around though, wouldn't it?
Most definitely. I don't think Mayweather beats anybody on the UFC roster.
I've got to say, this octagon's massive.
It's a lot bigger than the one I used to fight in for Cage Warriors, I'll tell you that, yeah. It's nice, there's a lot of space in here, and what a great arena this is. Every time we come here, the fight's electric.